Welcome, everybody. What is up? What is up, people? Thank you guys so much for being here, watching this mystery bag Monday. We have 5 rag bags to open. Very excited, very hopeful that we'll find some dope vintage stuff today. We just got out of a pretty significant winter weather storm, so it's still a bit chilly out, but now it has really just become mud. Hopefully, you all across the Midwest, all the way to the Mid Atlantic, are doing all right. I know they dropped a lot of snow, some ice, stuff like that. So hopefully you guys are doing all right and staying warm and staying safe. I know the ice can be pretty rough. Maybe it's already over by now, but hopefully you guys are doing well. Anyways, we're doing well here. Very excited. Happy to be doing this Monday. We have 5 rag bags, which is about half as what we had last week. I was hoping to get a little bit more, but 5 is pretty good. 5 is a little bit above average, actually, I think. And some of these are a little bit heavier, so who knows how much is actually in there. So if you can, just let me know that you can hear all right, that everything is good to go. Don't want to be sitting here talking to nobody, but as far as I can tell, it looks like I'm doing all right. Everyone can hear. But let me know in the chat if you have any questions about what we do, about vintage clothing, about anything. Leave them in the chat. I would love to hear from you and have a little conversation while we're here. 10 out of 10. Great. Nice. So we answer questions if you have them. Sweet. If you have them, just drop them in the chat. We enjoy it. If you've never been to a Mystery Bag Monday, never watched one of them, I buy these rag bags. These are bags full of, generally speaking, full of T-shirts. Um, Typically, these thrift stores are, marketing this sort of thing to like a mechanic shop or a floor refinishing company, basically using these T-shirts to clean up mess and clean up oil spills and stuff like that. And I remember when I first noticed that they were selling these things, I realized, wait, they're full of T-shirts. They don't know what a vintage T-shirt is. They probably are putting in like super valuable T-shirts. And the truth was, once we started buying them and opening them up, they did. They were putting some incredibly valuable T-shirts in these bags, and they were going to be destroyed, covered in oil, thrown away, burned, whatever. So I'm glad I kind of got in the middle there, and now I buy them mostly. I think they're catching on that I'm the only one buying them, and that I don't actually use them to clean up oil spills. But they still don't know really what they're putting in here. They've told me in the past that what they put in these bags is mostly stuff like might be damaged or dirty, or they can't sell it because it is like explicit, or because like this place is like a run by a hospital charity. They can't do stuff like alcohol, cigarettes, stuff like that, stuff that would be considered unhealthy. So I don't think it hurts the value hardly at all, Fred. Maybe a little bit, but like with rap tees, I know rap tees people almost prefer the bootleg, the parking lot bootleg, as long as it's not like as long as it's clearly not like a modern, someone faking it, making a fake or a fraud or something modern today. I think you'd probably be all right. I'm not sure that the difference of the Genesis tee would be that much different if it was the official licensed one or not. Um, I think you have plenty of room with the bootlegs. If they're like an actual vintage bootleg and not a modern ripoff bootleg, I think you'd be just fine. But it's cool tee though. I found a handful of what are clearly like parking lot bootlegs, and people, especially like collectors, as long as they're real true vintage, don't seem to mind all that much. So hopefully you get a good sale. Anyway, let's go ahead and get cracking into this. Maybe we'll find ourselves a vintage parking lot bootleg today. We have the first bag right here. We're going to go ahead and dig in, see if we can't get on the board here. Oh, we got an all sport tag. Start us off. But I literally have pulled this tee out. Did I? I swear. Did my wife? I'm going to go talk to my wife because I think we may have donated this T-shirt to them, and I'm going to find that in this bag. If I swear, if she took this stuff to that thrift store, ooh, we're gonna have a bad time, everybody. We may have just rebought a T-shirt here. Let's just hope and pray. Yep. So, my wife cleaned out a bunch of T-shirts from some of my fam. Oh my gosh, so dumb. This is why you don't donate to the places where you shop. This is a T-shirt from my brother that ended up in a bag that ended up getting collected. Here's a Star Wars tee. Yep. Here we go. This first bag is literally just going to be full of stuff that I've already owned. Oh my gosh. I'm going to talk to my wife, but someone's calling me here. Wow. Yep. See that? We pulled this out of a rag bag not that long ago. Oh my Lord Jesus. I mean, I guess the money's going to the cause. How about you guys out there, thrifters out there? How have you ever donated to a store, then rebought the item by accident when you found it and thought, oh, maybe this is a worthwhile idea or item to buy? It has happened to me on occasion. There's not a ton of this stuff that looks familiar to me. There's a couple things here, but have you ever rebought your own donation? I did one time that I remember very specifically. It was a pair of Levi's, actually, which I shouldn't have probably donated in the first place. The Minnesota Wild, not vintage, Reebok. I might hold on to that. I did one time. It was a pair of Levi's that probably shouldn't have been donated. So buying it like the second time, I actually ended up selling it for like $40 or $50. So like it worked out. But in this case, the situation we're in today, where my wife took a bunch of stuff to donate. What the? Oh my gosh! But it's modern, dude. That for a second there, this thing got me good. Just for a second, just for a moment, I saw this and I first thought The Mask. You guys know mask tees are like crazy, but then I saw The Exorcist, but then I thought still maybe it's crazy. No, it's just a modern reprint come from somewhere. Golly, that hat took my heart for a ride there for a minute. We might find some stuff. Who knows? Got some Olaf wash rag, and some Minnie Mouse wash rag. My daughter will love these little things. Anyway, what was I talking about? Rebuying your stuff you donated. It's happened to me at least one time. Hopefully, it hasn't happened to you guys. It's kind of annoying. You feel super dumb when you do it. Kind of like how I'm feeling right now. But yeah, my wife took a bunch of clothes to donate, and I think she must have donated them to the thrift store we normally buy these from. I thought I told her not to. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. This is kind of cool. I don't think it's vintage or anything, or at least it's not old. It's a Led Zeppelin tee, but it's on like a early 2000s or like a early to mid 2000s Hanes. I don't know. We might try to sell it. I mean, I already own it, and maybe I've even owned it twice. Not even sure. All right, let's see. Any of you guys heard or seen the ads that have been going around for Bid Stitch, a new like vintage resale platform. If you have, what are your thoughts? I noticed that like it almost seems like Drew Heifetz. If you're familiar with Drew Heifetz, looks like almost like he's like early investor or someone who's starting it. Oh, what's this? Anyone know? Kind of looks like the. I don't know what this is. It's not on a real old tag. It's on a Gildan Tearaway. But if you have heard of Bid Stitch, you've seen the ads that have been going around lately. Are you thinking about joining, starting to sell there? I'm not sure that it's like. Oh, look, we got a Cinderella one. I'm not sure that's like. I don't know what the volume is, like how many people are on there, but they're like advertising it as like the vintage head community's like place to go and to sell stuff and to buy stuff. There are apparently no selling fees. Oh, look, we have the Beauty and the Beast or Belle. So apparently there's no selling fees on Bid Stitch, so you keep 100% of the money that you make from a sale, but it looks like you pay to sell. So you pay a monthly subscription fee, which I think right now is like $10. So that's interesting because that's not a lot of money. $10 is very low. And if you keep if you don't have any fees to sell, like that seems like a pretty good deal. Sell one or two items and you've paid for the month and obviously then some, but you've already saved yourself a ton on seller fees that you would be paying on other ones. Yeah, no fees. I'm really curious. There's fees. There's a subscription, so it's like $10 a month, I think, or something like that. So they're definitely making money that way, but no like final value fees. So I'm real curious. I started my account today, or at least I registered, and I'll probably start officially doing it and just seeing how it goes. But I'm real curious because it's supposed to be like the place for the vintage community to buy and sell, and so maybe that will help specifically to for selling higher end vintage stuff. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts if you check them out. We're on to bag number 2. What we got here? Nothing. But yeah, Bid Stitch. Pretty curious. I don't know. They seem pretty recent. Yeah, I actually did just read that story about the Home Alone tees. So it was started by Drew. That makes sense. Like I'd seen him like talking it up, and I hadn't heard whether or not he had like if he was like official on it. But what is this? Far Out Far East Racing to the Sun Rickshaw Rally. What the heck? This is like on a early 2000s Gildan. But that's cool. But the Home Alone situation is pretty funny. If you were one of the few that got their hands on some of that product, man, you're lucky. Because those are those are expensive tees. That's pretty wild. It looks like we have a vintage. We have a vintage Hard Rock tee, but they've turned it into a tank. I mean, I can't tell whether not a single stitch or not. It's like, but I can tell from the printing. This looks like one of the older ones. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one. But man, what would you have? I would have probably driven a 100 miles to go to that store and pick up some of those Home Alone tees. If you're not familiar with the story, apparently some like old record shop found a bunch of Home Alone 1 promo tees in their back room in a box or something. And they posted on their Instagram that they were just going to give them away. It's like, hey, if you want one, come get one. And of course, these OG Home Alone tees are like, $300 to $500, like real expensive, real valuable. What do we have here? Oh, some like weird shroom tee, but I mean, it's not. It doesn't look vintage. Doesn't feel vintage either. But but yeah, they like gave away like 30 of them. It's bid stitch, like you're gonna bid on an item, like an auction. Bid stitch. They do auctions. They do like buy it now offer type stuff. Um, I'm real curious about it because I mean, I actually just got back onto Depop after having basically not been on Depop for a couple years. I was on it early on, and I was real frustrated about, like, it was really annoying because like they did the square photos because of course they're primarily about mobile, and at the time you could not create listings on Depop outside of the mobile app. And since I was going to be like cross posting them from eBay, like it just was a hassle. So I was like, no, it just became too much. Yeah, that's right. Bid stitch, that's correct. Is there a minimum age clothing for it? I actually don't know. It's a good question. I would imagine that there should be, but then like who's going to enforce that? And then it's like they're going to have like an official technical, you know, agreement for what actual vintage is. Oh, we got a single stitch. Oh man. Well, okay. So check this out. This is vintage single stitch Disney wear, made in USA, probably mid 90s. Mickey Mouse. This is actually I think a crop tee from the factory, because that's what it looks like. That's interesting the way this is set up. So this is like a cropped tee, like a vintage Disney crop tee. They didn't make it vintage, but that's cool. Super, yeah, the boxiest of boxy. Oh dang, Jake! So 10 minutes from this? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the story does seem a little fishy, but like I think when the article said, on the Bid Stitch article I'm referring to, was talking about how, like, after the first 7 or so people and the messages they were getting, um, they realized they were worth some money, and I think um, they were worth some money. So I think that they like just got wise to it and figured they could make a little bit of money. But apparently, the person selling them wasn't the store themselves; it was like an employee or something like that. Look, we got a home. We got a homemade. Is this a homemade monster tea? Somebody really loves monsters. Release the beast. This is a homemade monster tea. Oh man. You haven't missed too much. We haven't found a whole lot. We found a couple things. What's this? Oh yeah, heck yeah, Pope tees. One of my favorite like slept on t-shirt genres. This is from 2007, so this is like so this is Pope Benedict, who was like the only pope that's ever like, well, maybe not the only one, but one of the only ones that like yeah, dude, Pope Rapti. This is like one of the only popes that like stepped down, and he's like, just chilled in the background. So this is kind of a rare tea to some degree. So, oh man, this is the hit of the bag so far. Why did he? I don't know, man. He looks. I mean, before I open it up, I don't know, man. All right, bag number 3. Woo! If you are just tuning in, we did have sort of a funny little Oh, really? 145 on Posh. That's good to know. Um, if you are just tuning in, we did have a funny moment where I realized that I think my wife donated a bag of clothes that we had gotten this from these rag bags and donated it back to the store that we got it from. And so in the first bag there was like a handful of tees that we had already pulled out of rag bags. Oh, so frustrating. But what are you gonna do? All right, what do we got here? Nope. Just a random hot rod tee. We got some big tees coming in. I wish this Pope tee was a little bigger. This is like it's a medium, so it's not even a super great size, but I guess it's better than a small. Oh, looks like a vintage like college tee or older college tee. I'm not sure if it's vintage because there was no tag. All right, come on now. What do we got here? What do we got here? Stewie's Seafood Shanty. It's not vintage though. Woo! The dust from these teas today is getting to me. Doesn't normally get to me that bad, but today it's kind of getting to me. All right. Come on, we got to hit on something else. Let's hit on something big. I feel like we've probably, with a couple of these teas, probably made our money back so far. So we're just looking for the gravy right now. Oh man, I found like a handful of dope Christmas teas all like the week after Christmas. It's so frustrating. What's this? Marilyn Manson, huh? Got a Marilyn Manson tour. I don't know if we can even sell those on eBay anymore. It's not a vintage Manson tee, but it is a Manson tee. We'll see. We'll see how those go. So that's a good question about what I pick up. So I used to pick up everything, which is sort of the typical story of most resellers at the beginning. But what I do, one of my rules is for like specifically for, I pay a lot of attention to size. Okay, so if it's a larger women's size, like a size 14 and above, or 12 even sometimes and above, I won't touch it mostly unless it's like super dirt cheap, unless like two, 3 or under, then I might pick it up. But those sizes just don't move very fast. So anything that's too big, like women's sizes specifically, it's going to be rough. The smaller the women's size in Levi's, the better price you're going to get, and the more I think you're going to get sale faster. With men's jeans, it's similar too. Basically, I try to avoid anything over 38, maybe even 36. I sometimes buy 38s because when you measure them, they've shrunk some, so they're around 36. But basically, 36 and down, or smaller, 36 and smaller, is sort of the range I try to buy vintage Levi's in. Um, so size has a lot to do with it, in my opinion. Style is important too, but for the most part, if it's true vintage, if it's a good condition, if it's a good size, you'll probably find a buyer somewhere along the line. So, uh, is it? I haven't listened to Marilyn Manson since anything from like. I haven't listened to anything since like the '90s. It's a size. I can't tell the size, but it looks like maybe a size large. Fred, let's talk. We'll maybe we can trade something. That'd be dope. Um, that's interesting that women's is hard to sell. Women's is hard to sell. Like, so I mean, I'll be honest with you. Here's one thing about women's jeans. Um, here's a couple things about women's jeans that is important to know. Um, Women like to try on jeans. So men typically are like, if it's the right size, they'll go for it. So you want to make sure that you have the most measurements possible. And even then, it can be sometimes be pretty hard. I find that women buy jeans from the other sellers that they know are women more than they buy them from sellers they don't know is a woman or believe is a man. And it's crazy because you can go on Instagram and you'll find a women's denim, like Levi's vintage denim seller, and they'll be selling their Levi's for like $150 to $200, and I'll sell that same jean on eBay for 40. Um, so it can be tough, but like some of it is like, does the buyer trust you? And do they have this idea that the jeans that they're going to buy from you are going to fit them in a flattering way? And that can be hard to get over, because there's so many out there that it's not just the price that's going to move them. It's whether or not it's actually going to look the way that they want it to when they put it on. So that's why with denim, I offer free returns on all Levi or all jeans, because I know that that's so important to people. So there's a few things you can do to get it moving, to give confidence to the buyer that if it doesn't look right, they're not going to be out, $50. So you might think about that too. That can be real helpful. So yeah, that's a good rule. That's a good rule. I've I sell. I probably sell more women's Levi's than I do men's, because I actually have buyers that buy bulk and sell in like South Korea, and so um, I sell a lot to them because they sell in their store. Um, but I sell a lot of the stuff from like the late '90s. That's like 550s, 512s, the 960s, stuff like that. Um, and those do real well on eBay, and those are the ones that the high rise, taper jean fans are going for. So, um, but Man USA is important. So, do I sell on Instagram? I have sold on Instagram. Fred, I think Fred Smith here sells on Instagram. Is that right? I think I've seen you on there a lot. We got a Jerry Lee. Got a Jerry Lee tee. I don't think it's vintage. It's not vintage, but it's nice. It's like real clean. It's a Disney product, so we'll sell that. We'll try to sell that. Um, yeah, the thing about yeah. So I've tried to do the Instagram thing, and I've sold a few things here and there, but I think you guys, if you follow my Instagram, I don't post a lot, and I just can't keep up with all the social medias, and so I kind of have to pick and choose what I'm putting on, like where I'm putting certain things. I have sold big ticket items on Instagram, like a couple years ago. I sold all my Oliver Print X-Men tees, the early '90s ones. I sold them all on Instagram, but I kind of knew that that's where like all the big collectors were, and all I had to do was like hashtag it, and they would pop up in their feed. But well, that's funny. Little emoji. It's not that old. Um, but like broadly speaking, I don't have. You have to build an audience. So, do I prefer Levi's cut into shorts? I will. Well, what's this? Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe we got this vintage Hallmark tee. Mom's Rule. Double stitch. Mom's Rule. Something. This is probably like late '90s here. Yeah, late '90s. Um, I would. So what I'll do sometimes, if I have a pair of Levi's that has damage or like wear that's not aesthetically pleasing on certain portions of the jean, like the lower portions of the jean, I will turn those into shorts because they'll sell a little bit better. But I try not to unless it's really necessary. Oh no. Oh, that's a great question actually. I have the I think it's the premium. It's the 10,000 item level. That 10,000 item used to be I think the Anchor store, Enterprise store, Anchor store. Then they moved it around, but I have the premium subscription, so it's like $60 a month for 10,000 listings. I've just had that. I've had that since it was 1,000, 1,000 listings, and they upped it. So that's the one I use. Yeah, that's the one I use mostly. Yeah, so I've experimented with Mercari. Never sold anything on Mercari. Bag number 3. No, bag number 4. Um, Never sold on Mercari. Not actually ever sold anything on Mercari. I started an account and it's really important to me, and this is why I was on Poshmark too, basically only putting women's, like, modern women's stuff on there. But here's how it goes for me. Because so much of these, because I take photos for eBay, like the way the photos are set up, they're for eBay, and like, is my problem with Depop. You have to have these square photos. So if I have something long like my jeans, which I do long ways because I want to show the whole jean and not a folded version of the jean, I can't post that to Poshmark or to Depop. I can't post it to I think Poshmark also had that same problem. So I can't even post these things because the photos don't work. And so, that was really frustrating. So it made it hard and so much more time consuming. I don't think Etsy is that way, which is why we were on Etsy for a little while. We paused our account, or we still sell on Etsy, some on Etsy, but we paused our account at one point. But cool little Carhartt piece, but it's new. Yeah, Depop is only 4 photos. And so I'm like, all right, I can only probably put jackets and t-shirts on Depop, which is fine because there's a lot of vintage buyers on there. And if I'm, selling, I have lots of t-shirts. So I can probably handle that. And I've noticed, having been back on Depop, now that I can repost, or now that I can make listings on the laptop, it's much faster. So I can cross post much quicker. And that saves me time, gets me some more exposure, and so it's gone a little bit better for t-shirts and stuff. But jeans, no. Jeans, it's like, in order to display the jean in the way that I think is going to be most helpful to the buyer, there's only a handful of platforms that are doing it well. Etsy, eBay, and Grailed all allow you to have like rectangle shapes. So Grailed has been one of my favorites for a long time. Obviously, they were the favorite a while back because they had the lowest fees. But like, I find that I sell things closer to my list price on Grailed than I do on any other platform so far. So it's worth it for me to just to keep certain items up on Grailed. But I think ultimately, like, Grailed sort of is carving out a niche for itself in the hype beast and like higher end designer markets. So I'm not sure that the vintage community is like I don't think the vintage buyers are going to Grail to find their stuff. So I like the platform. I love the platform. I love a lot of things about it. But I am starting to currently question whether or not there's like enough vintage buyers specifically. I haven't heard of that pants, and I don't even know how to really pronounce it. I've never heard of that brand. They sound maybe Italian, or is that, am I am I gonna get in trouble for not knowing that? But oh, rock climbing pants, interesting. Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of these like real niche brand or companies like in some of those weird like outdoor spaces that are super high quality and worth a lot of money, but you don't ever come across them. But specifically, I don't have any experience with that brand personally. Man, look at this. We got a bunch of just like looks like someone dumped their like 4K or their 5K T-shirt or something. No, this is an insurance T-shirt. Oh, that's annoying. It's a whole lot of junk. That's what that is. Nothing good in there. Um, yeah, so that was mostly that last bag right there, which is a bunch of like insurance tees. All right, we got one more bag. One more bag. Oh, hold on. Um, about the forehead and hardwood classics, I actually don't know that the answer to that question. Um, Hats, as much as I wear them, I'm not quite I'm not there. Like I'm not a I wouldn't consider myself any like even hardly a amateur at hats for whatever reason. Um, I'm trying to learn hats better, but I don't quite know. Um, I don't think the hardwood classics are vintage. If I'm remembering correctly, I had a buddy tell me about the hardwood classics one time, and I'm not sure that they're actually vintage. The foreheads might be, but I don't really know, unfortunately. Oh, look, there we go. Eileen knows. I don't. I'm not. Yeah, I don't. It's tough with some brands because some brands like I there was this brand. It's called Brooksfield or Brookfield. I think it's Brooksfield, and I had a friend give me this pair of Brooksfield shoes, and he's like they're an Italian company, and he bought them in Italy for like $800, something crazy amount, and just like zero comps on eBay. I had it listed for over a year or 2 years. I think it was a year and a half, and nobody was interested. Nobody wanted to pay anywhere remotely what they were worth as far as like the quality of the shoe. And you're kind of stuck because um, there's no there's no demand. So there are brands like that occasion that I find that are high quality, but nobody's really interested in them. All right, we're almost down to the end of this. Looks like we have a best Fruit of the Loom tag. Oh, this is interesting. We got like some like vintage restaurant, the Roadkill Cafe. I've seen this T-shirt. This from '94. I've seen this T-shirts from this. That's kind of funny. Slab of lab, Pitbull pot pie. Man, this would offend somebody. Chunk of skunk. I don't know if this is. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a real place, but it's a vintage tee, so sort of a souvenir tee. Somebody picked it up after going there once, thought it was hilarious, and brought it back, and then donated it probably after not ever wearing it. All right, we're coming down to the end of these bags, and we'll do a little recap. Um, hasn't been a crazy day, unfortunately. Not like some days are, but you can't win them all. Oh, wait a minute. Check this out. Alcatraz, Psycho Ward, Outpatient on the like AAA tag. This is probably late '90s, early 2000s. I have a T-shirt that we pulled from a rag bag on a Giant tag that said this exact same thing. Had this exact same Alcatraz Psych Ward Outpatient or something like that, but it was on a legit Giant tag. Huh. What's up, Houston? Houston, Texas. I'm assuming. If I remember correctly, Houston, Texas, right? Yeah, everybody hit the like button. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Love having you here. Yeah, this it is embroidered. It was embroidered. It's interesting. I mean, it's right here. It's interesting because the Giant tag one was not embroidered. I don't think it's somewhere in my inventory. I think look for it, um, but it's from the same. It's like a late '90s Giant tag, like right around the same time as AAA tag. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's. I mean, maybe it's an actual like. Maybe it's from Alcatraz, like a tourist tee. I don't know. I'm curious. Can't know everything. All right. A couple more T-shirts here. We're coming down to the end here. Coming down to the end today. We'll do a quick recap here right at the end. We got cute little it's a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Not vintage or anything, obviously, but then the last tee we have is Freedom is not free tee. Woohoo. This is like brand new, but it's got some stains on it. All right, so that's all the bags that we have today. So let's go back and look through some of the highlights. This one's pretty cool, vintage, like Alcatraz, Psycho Ward, Outpatient tee from like '99 or something like that. We have this Jerry Lee Disney tee. It's like brand new. Looks like dead stock, but without the tags. We got this Marilyn Manson tour tee. I don't know if you can still tour there. I haven't been to the West Coast in maybe 10 years. No, yeah, maybe 10 years. We have one of the best tees this of the day. We have this Pope Benedict wrap, 2007 wrap tee, tour tee. So that's pretty cool. We got the Roadkill Cafe vintage tee. Nothing crazy here. I don't know what the upside is on that. We have this vintage Mickey Mouse crop tee. This is pretty dope. Single stitch, probably from the mid '90s. This is pretty cool. Super boxy, obviously, but probably a women's crop top. Unfortunately, this vintage Hard Rock Cafe tee was cut and shredded. That wasn't something I want to put there. That either. Let's see, what's this? We had this Led Zeppelin tee, but I think this is like 2010 on this Hanes tag, so I might not even keep it. Real big fake out. I saw this sort of folded up like that, and I thought in my head, The Mask. Then I saw it was The Exorcist, and I got excited. Then I realized it's just, it's the modern tee. It's that printing right there, just the modern tee. Might still be worth something. But that's about it for the evening. Of course, we're going to be back next Monday with hopefully some more rag bags, and we'll keep digging in again. Yeah, it's interesting. I will next week. I'll pull a T-shirt out, the Alcatraz tee, and we'll compare them. It's pretty interesting. I'm curious. I don't know if it's like, is that like a bootleg of that one, or I don't know. But we'll be back at 7 p.m. next week with some more bags. Hopefully they'll have a whole bunch of bags this week. I saw into their back sort of storage area, and there was a ton of not teas, but a ton of clothes they have not processed. So I'm sure they have plenty to give us. So thank you guys so much for being here. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. We will be having some more videos coming out this week, so stay tuned. We will see you guys later. Thanks for being here. Peace.